Learn how to crochet an easy fall blanket and make this autumn striped blanket crochet pattern. I made mine using vibrant fall colors for a wonderful autumn crochet blanket, but feel free to use any colors and make it any time of year. This beginner-friendly striped crochet blanket is simple, relaxing, and fun to make. The perfect cozy crochet blanket for fall or really any season. If you've been looking for a fall-themed crochet afghan pattern or just want to learn how to crochet a striped blanket, you've come to the right place.
Hello from Halifax. I'm Jo with Jo the World Creations.
We're going to get right to the video tutorial. This easy fall blanket pattern is available to view on my website for free, and there's a link to the free pattern in the description below this video. For this pattern, you can use any size 4 medium yarn. For a hook size, use a K hook. The pattern creates a blanket that is approximately 35 inches wide and 55 inches high. The number of starting chains determines the height of the blanket, and the number of rows determines the width. The blanket is made by repeating rows 1 to 12 with one color, or as I call it, a color section. We're going to start and make our first color section. We're going to start with color A. In the actual blanket, I used red for color A. However, for this video tutorial, I'll be using this green lagoon color for color A, just so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. When we start our blanket and make our slip knot, we want to leave an approximate 8-inch starting tail. Now we can make our slip knot. Put your slip knot on your hook and pull tight. To make the full-size blanket, chain 171. For this video, I'm going to be making a small swatch. You're welcome to make a small swatch with me to practice, and I'm going to chain 11. You go ahead and make your number of starting chains and come back to the video. With your starting chains now made, we're going to begin row 1. For all of row 1, we're going to be working into these starting chains, and we're always going to work into the top loop. The first thing we're going to do is work into the second chain from the hook. Here's the first, here's the second. In the second chain from the hook, we're going to single crochet. Working in the second chain, insert your hook under that top loop of the second chain and single crochet. If you ever have any trouble counting your stitches, you can always place a stitch marker in the top of the first stitch made in every row. Now we're going to single crochet in each chain all the way across. Working in the next chain, single crochet. And simply single crochet in each chain all the way across. I'm almost finished making a single crochet stitch in each chain all the way across. I have one last chain to work into. Nothing special happens in the last chain. Single crochet. If you're making the full-size blanket, you should now have 170 single crochet stitches. Here in my swatch, I have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. It may take several rows for the width of your blanket, which is actually the finished blanket's height, to be the size that it will be for the remainder of the pattern. I recommend measuring your work after row 12. If after row 12 you're not happy with the width, you can start again, and please refer to the written pattern for how to adjust the size. To start row 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Row 2 is a wrong side row, meaning that the back of our blanket is now facing us. In this pattern, we always work into the very first stitch. This is the stitch attached to that chain one we just made. The first thing we're going to do in row 2 is to work into this first stitch and single crochet. In the first stitch, single crochet. Working in the next stitch, we are going to double crochet. There's my first double crochet stitch. We're now going to begin the repeat portion of the row, which is what we'll be repeating all the way across. The first step in our repeat is in the next stitch, single crochet. And the last part of the repeat, in the next stitch, double crochet. These are the steps we're going to be repeating all the way across. In the next stitch, single crochet. In the next stitch, double crochet. In the next stitch, single crochet. In the next stitch, double crochet. And you'll keep repeating that all the way across the row. I'm nearing the end here. In the second last stitch, I'm still continuing those same steps. In the second last stitch, single crochet. And in the last stitch, double crochet. If you're making the full-size blanket, once again, you should have 170 stitches. Half of those are single crochet and half of those are double. In this pattern, the starting chain one never counts as a stitch. You're only counting your single crochet and double crochet stitches. Here in my swatch, I have 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For row 3, we're going to do the exact same thing we just did and repeat row 2. To do this, we chain 1 and turn. Row 3 is a right side row, meaning that the front of our work is now facing us. In the first stitch, single crochet. In the next stitch, double crochet. And repeat single crochet and double crochet all the way across. I've now repeated those steps all the way across. You should have the same number of stitches as you did after row 2. To start row 4, we're going to chain 1 and turn. This is a wrong side row, and the back of our work is now facing us. In the first stitch, the stitch attached to that chain 1 we just made, we're going to make a slip stitch, and we're going to make this slip stitch very, very loosely, as we will be working into that slip stitch in the next row. Whenever we make slip stitches, we're always going to make them very loosely. In the first stitch, make a slip stitch, nice and loose. In the next stitch, we're going to half double crochet. Now we're going to begin the repeat portion of the row. Here are the 2 steps we're going to be repeating all the way across. In the next stitch, we are going to slip stitch loosely. And the final step in our repeat, in the next stitch, half double crochet. And these are the steps you're going to be repeating all the way across. In the next stitch, slip stitch loosely. In the next stitch, half double crochet. In the next stitch, slip stitch loosely. In the next stitch, half double crochet. You keep doing this all the way across the row. I'm here at the end, so I'll finish the row right now. In the second last stitch, nothing special is happening. I'm still repeating the exact same steps. In the second last stitch, slip stitch loosely. And in the last stitch, half double crochet. At the end of row 4, you should have 170 stitches. Half of those are slip stitches and half of those are half double crochet stitches. Here in my swatch, I have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For rows 5 to 9, you're going to do the exact same thing we just did and repeat row 4. Let's do it one more time together. Let's do row 5 together, which is a repeat of row 4. We chain 1 and turn. In the first stitch, slip stitch loosely. In the next stitch, half double crochet. And repeat slip stitch, always loosely. And in the next stitch, half double crochet. And you repeat those 2 steps all the way across. I've just finished repeating those steps all the way across. Every time you repeat row 4, you should have the exact same number of stitches as you did the first time you made row 4. We just completed row 5. You go ahead and repeat row 4 for rows 6, 7, 8, and 9. After you've completed row 9, come back to the video. I've just finished row 9. Let's quickly summarize what we've done so far. Row 1 was a row of single crochet stitches. Row 2 was alternating single and double crochet stitches. Row 3 was repeating row 2. And here is row 4, where we alternated slip stitches and half double crochet stitches. We did this for row 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We're now going to do row 10, and for row 10 and 11, we're going to be doing the exact same thing we did on row 2, which was alternating between single crochet and double crochet stitches. Let's do it together. We're going to chain 1 and turn. In the first stitch, we are going to single crochet. In the next stitch, double crochet. And now we repeat in the next stitch, single crochet, followed by in the next stitch, double crochet. And we do this all the way across. In the next stitch, single crochet. In the next stitch, double crochet. And you repeat those steps all the way across. I'm almost finished working all the way across. Nothing special happens at the end of the row. In the second last stitch, single crochet. In the last stitch, we're going to make a double crochet stitch. In this last stitch, which can be a little tight, take your time. Double crochet. You should have the same number of stitches as the first time you completed row 2. For row 11, we're going to do the exact same thing and repeat row 2 again. Chain 1, turn. In the first stitch, single crochet. In the next stitch, double. And repeat in the next stitch, single crochet, and in the next stitch, double crochet. And you repeat those steps all the way across. I've now finished row 11. We're now going to start row 12, which is the last row in a color section. And for row 12, the first thing we'll do is chain 1 and turn. Row 12 is a wrong side row. The back of our work is now facing us. We're going to work into the very first stitch, and into this first stitch, single crochet. In this first stitch, single crochet. And we're simply going to single crochet in each stitch all the way across. Working in the next stitch, single crochet. And in the next stitch, single crochet. And that's all we'll do for the whole row. Make a single crochet stitch in each stitch all the way across. I'm now nearing the end of the row. Nothing special happens. We're just making a single crochet stitch in each stitch. If you're making the full-size blanket, you should have 170 single crochet stitches. For my swatch, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This completes our first color section with color A, and now we can move on to whatever color you'd like for color B. I used orange when making the actual blanket. I'm going to use this misty blue color for my color B for this tutorial. You change colors right at the end of row 12. You take your new color and you place it on your hook and pull it through the loop of your old color. Pull all the strands tight. If you'd like to incorporate your ends into the tassels so you don't need to weave them in, make sure you leave an 8-inch long starting tail when attaching your new color. We're now going to fasten off our old color, and when you're cutting the yarn that's attached to your skein, leave an approximate 8-inch long tail. Now we're ready to do another color section with our color B. Each color section is repeating rows 1 to 12. A note about repeating row 1. You may recall when we first did row 1, we worked into the starting chains as it was our initial or setup row, but from now on, every time we repeat row 1, we're going to be working into actual stitches. Let's do another color section together with color B. We're now going to be repeating row 1, but with some revised instructions that don't involve working into the starting chains. Whenever you repeat row 1 in this pattern, this is what you're going to do. You're going to chain 1 and turn. Feel free to pull your strands nice and tight. In the first stitch, we're going to single crochet. Make 1 single crochet stitch in each stitch all the way across. At the end of row 1, you should have 170 single crochet stitches, or if you're making a swatch, 10 single crochet stitches. For row 2, we chain 1 and turn. In the first stitch, single crochet. In the next stitch, double crochet. And then repeat in the next stitch, single crochet. And in the next stitch, double crochet. And repeat those steps all the way across. For row 3, you do the exact same thing we just did and repeat row 2. You go ahead and do that now. I've just finished row 3, which was a repeat of row 2. For row 4, we chain 1 and turn. In the first stitch, slip stitch. Reminder to always make your slip stitches very loosely. In the next stitch, half double crochet. And then repeat in the next stitch, slip stitch. And in the next stitch, half double crochet. And repeat those steps all the way across. I've just finished row 4. For rows 5 to 9, you do the exact same thing we just did and repeat row 4. You go ahead and do that now. I've just finished row 9, which was repeating row 4. I'm now on row 10. For row 10, we repeat row 2. First thing we do, chain 1 and turn. In the first stitch, single crochet. In the next stitch, double crochet. And repeat in the next stitch, single crochet. And in the next stitch, double crochet. And repeat those steps all the way across. I've just finished row 10. For row 11, we do the exact same thing and repeat row 2 again. You go ahead and do that now. I've just finished row 11. One more row to go. Our final row in our color section is row 12. To start row 12, we chain 1 and turn. In the first stitch, single crochet and single crochet in each stitch all the way across. And I've now finished row 12. As we are now finished a color section, this is when we change colors. We've used color A and color B so far. Now we're going to change to color C. In the actual blanket, I used yellow for color C, but for this tutorial, I'm just going to add this purple. To change colors, place your new color on your hook, pull it through the loop of your old color. Reminder to always leave an 8-inch starting tail. And now you can fasten off your old color, once again leaving an 8-inch ending tail. And with your new color, repeat rows 1 to 12. The pattern includes a quick reference overview with the instructions for each row, as well as which colors I used throughout the entire blanket. After you finish your last color section, let's pretend this is my last color section. After cutting your yarn and leaving an 8-inch tail, simply pull that end through the loop that was on your hook and pull tight. And now it's time to add the tassels. Really quickly, before you add your tassels, you may want to block your finished blanket. For example, here I've used the same brand of yarn in 2 different colors. As you can see, this color is slightly wider than this color. That can happen with different dyes of yarn. To help correct any unevenness with your blanket, you can block your finished blanket, and there's instructions for that in the written pattern. Each color section has 14 tassels, 7 along the bottom and 7 along the top. Each tassel is made with 2 strands of yarn. For each color section, you will need 28 strands of yarn, and each of those strands should be 16 inches long. You can make your tassels shorter or longer by cutting smaller or bigger strands. A tip for cutting your strands of yarn: find an object that is 8 inches long. Wrap your yarn around your 8-inch object, like this notebook, 28 times. Each wrap will create 1 strand of yarn. Once you've wrapped the yarn 28 times, cut the yarn in half. And now you're ready to attach your tassels to the blanket. Turn the blanket so the right side or front is facing up. You can tell which is the right side by where the starting tail is. The starting tail should be on the left side. I'm now just rotating my blanket, still with the right side facing up, and we are going to attach 7 tassels to this color section, 7 along the bottom and 7 along the top. There isn't an exact place where you need to place your tassels. I just made mine evenly spaced out. Let's attach our first tassel on this left side of color A right before color B, right here. I like to insert my hook under one loop or two loops. I'm going to attach my first tassel under these two loops right here. With your hook, insert your hook from the back to the front where you want the tassel to go. And I recommend using a smaller hook just so it's easier to get it into the place you want the tassel. So I'm going to insert my hook where I want the tassel. Now we're going to take our two strands of yarn, fold them in half, and place them on our hook. Now we're going to pull these strands through the blanket, and we're going to pull them out enough to form a loop. Now with our fingers, we're going to grab these ends and pull them through the loop. And then we're going to pull tight to form a knot. And we've just attached our first tassel. We're going to go ahead and make 7 tassels that are all evenly spaced out. I found it most helpful to work on one end and then another end so that they would continue to be evenly spaced out, and then have one last one in the middle here. Let's attach our next tassel to this end. Find a spot under one loop or two. I'm going to attach mine right here. Insert your hook from back to front. Place your strands on your hook. Pull them through. Form a loop. With your fingers, grab the ends. Pull them through. Now, we have this starting tail here that I'd like to incorporate into this tassel. Before I pull tight to make a knot, I'm now going to put this starting tail into the loop as well. And then I'm going to pull tight to form a knot. And it's so wonderful not to have to weave in any ends. And that's how to attach the tassels. Continue doing this until you have 7 evenly spaced out tassels on the bottom here, and then repeat this for this color section on the top. And you're going to do this for the entire blanket. Once all the tassels are attached, trim the strands to make them all one length. I trimmed mine to be 5 inches long. I have another video showing exactly how I trim my tassels to be exactly the same length, and I'll link to that video in the description below. My strands of yarn did not fray, but some yarn does, and if you find yours is fraying, what you can do is just tie a little knot at the end of the strand to prevent it from fraying. And now you have a new blanket. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions or if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. If you enjoyed this tutorial, I'd be delighted if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.